How are you?
I'm well. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for being on the Wellness and Wahala podcast.
You're
For
welcome.
everybody tuning in for the first time, my name is Dr. Tomi, better known as Amma Abba. So I talk about great public health wellness tips and also current affairs. And we have a special celebrity guest in the household.
Yes, so good evening,
How you day?
everyone.
How you day?
We're fine. Oh, we're doing good.
So my special celebrity guest that you guys are hearing, his name is Emmanuel Sagi, my Edo king. You know I'm half Edo, so I
Yes,
can
I
take
know.
this out. But his celebrity name is MC Attraction. I know you guys know him. He's a celebrity MC. He's also an activist, an investor, a Chi-Town, Chicago Nigerian.
Yes, so
And he does so much more. He's a producer of Laugh and Praise and African Gospel Awards here in the U.S. And he's a trucking consultant and owner of EOG Express. And he does so much more. You know, we are jack of many trades. We're a hustler. So
that's right.
thank you for being on the show. The topic today is from protest to progress for a new Nigeria and SARS.
Mhm.
So you have really been in the forefront. I know as a whole bunch of people, you know, we're all a family and everybody here in the diaspora, especially in Chicago. You've really been doing a great thing, being a voice to the voiceless.
Mhm.
So I want you to start off just to let people know a little bit more about you, and then we'll move into the topic of discussion.
Okay,
So
thank
let
you.
them know who you be.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Emmanuel Osagi. Some people call it Osagi. There's Beni and there's Asan. I'm from the Asan part of Edo State anyway. And I'm a businessman. I'm a stand-up comedian. I produce events. I'm an IT consultant. I just do what puts food on the table and makes me happy.
It's good though. We must do what we can.
That's right.
So I want you to talk more about what's going on, you know, in Nigeria. A lot of us, you know, are not happy about what is going on back at home. And even though we're here in the States and Yankee, you know, so a lot of people are like, oh, what is SARS, for example, and why are you guys out there protesting? So tell people what is SARS and why did we all came together to protest to try to put an end to SARS and just the corruption in Nigeria.
So SARS is a unit in the Nigerian police force that was formed in the year 1992. This unit was created to actually curb crime, to fight against robbery, and the acronym SARS means Special Anti-Robbery Squad. The government created this to actually, fight some of the biggest menace the country is going through, but the opposite became the case over time. And this unit in the police had just grown from better to worse. I don't even know the next phase to describe it afterwards, but where they are right now is very dangerous and toxic to the citizens in Nigeria. They are killing people. They're making life hard for the youths. You can't drive nice cars. You can't, have tattoos on your body. You can't have dreadlocks. And these things are crazy, but the things we take for granted here in America, that's what they're killing people for in our country, Nigeria. So we as Nigerians in diaspora came out and decided that we want to lend our voices, want to use our platform, since where we live here in America, human rights is respected to an extent. So we want to use our platform, and when we protest, there's no one pointing guns to our faces or someone threatening to kill us. So we came out to use our voices and our platform to make sure that the world sees what is happening in Nigeria. And at some point, the NSAS movement has left that NSAS movement. We are now in the Reform Nigeria phase, and what next? So I'm glad platforms like this are coming up so that we can start having this conversation, because 2023 is around the corner. We need to start educating people. We need to start letting people know what's up, and that's why we're doing this.
Great. So that brings me to my next question, a follow-up. So yes, it started off as NSARS, and I think that the Nigerian government, they were very caught off guard by our generation, because our parents' generation, they didn't like a lot of the corruption that was going on, but a lot of them that did come out, they were assassinated, and that put a lot of fear for them, to organize and to unite and protest. So this is a new generation, and just like you said, we're trying to reform Nigeria, and I like how you guys have taken it from the next step. So it goes from protest but how are we going to make progress even before the next election? Like, what are the needed steps that, you know, we need to take? So I like how you guys organize a webinar. You guys had a Zoom call, you know, on what needs to be done next. I know that people have petitions. I also had petitions to some of our global leaders to put sanctions and talk about what's going on for EndSARS. But I told them they need to sanction specifically, put visa sanctions on all of those corrupt leaders. But, you know, that has not been done yet. But, you know, because America has been busy with election and, you know, all the wahala.
Exactly. So they have priorities right now.
Here. So, of course, when it comes to, they have other competing priorities. So, but we have to, I think that you said something that's really great. We're here in the diaspora, but, you know, home is still home. And we also need to partner because I think that there's the power of partnership. So what I would love to see is, like, my question would be, you know, there's EndSARS people in Nigeria. You know, how can we here in the diaspora, because we're supporting them, and we probably have more leverage because they're freezing bank accounts right now of some of the protest leaders. Some of them try to travel. They've restricted them from traveling, all types of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So we are more untouchable here, and we actually have more power to leverage and start a task force. So what do you think that we can do
right now? I think what we as diasporans need to start doing is engaging ourselves with very important conversations of how we can be part of the movement and support them. And there's no movement that will happen without financing or funding coming into play. So we as Chicago Nigerians, we also did our own part to create a GoFundMe account to see how we can help people. You know, once we start agitating, making all this movement, like someone came up with an idea of, you know, the 1 million march to Springfield so that the city will feel it very well. I know that these people are not happy with what is happening and they report to all the state reps, but we have to be very active with this particular movement. We're in diasporas, and we need to understand that the power is in our hands. And that power is having the voice.
Yes.
The power is, you know, educating people. So starting from having the voice, how do we use our voices? How do we use our platform? We share this information on social media. Some of us see this information and just scroll past it like it is normal. It is not normal for you to see people dying and you're just walking like nothing is happening. Share this information. Educate people on your WhatsApp, your social media, whatsoever you can do. Be part of the movement. Contribute to any GoFundMe accounts that your city is organizing. Nigerians contribute over $96 billion in remittance to Nigerians in diaspora contribute that much to Nigerian remittance. So imagine if we come together, 96 billion.
96 billion, all the Western Union and everything.
Imagine if diasporans come together and say, okay, we want to actually fund this movement. We want a better Nigeria. A bunch of us ran away. We escaped from Nigeria to come and look for this greener pasture. Imagine if we were back home, this would have been our case, our plight, or whatsoever. So now we have the opportunity. Some of us have the resources. Like people like Ianzi, he calls almost every week to say, what can we do? I have resources. Can we use mine? Can we talk to other people? So that's the kind of people, or that's the kind of movements we expect to be happening right now. People coming together to ask what's next, what can we do? Like in Chicago now, we're already talking about the next town hall meeting we'll be having so that people can come out, share ideas, or do it online. You know, we'll start making plans for 2023. If we are going to fund the sensitization or awareness or campaigns in Nigeria and say, okay, we're going to do a social media promotion and promote the awareness we're trying to do. Somebody came up, Ianzi still came up with another idea of, you know, breaking the Nigerian constitution into different languages in Nigeria and making it mobile, pocketable for people to start reading and knowing their rights and all that. So these are conversations that we need to start having. But the funds, the support, the voice is what diasporans need to start engaging themselves with. Very important.
Yes. So, and that's what, you know, I always tell our people know how to talk and they know how to pray. But I tell them faith without works is dead. So if they do that and we don't put action. So I'm happy you brought that, you know, you have a GoFundMe page. So we need resources. We need to come together. There's power in unity. And just being a former diplomat, I always tell people, you know, if you don't get into, a lot of people try to get away from politics.
Everything around this world is politics.
There's politics in healthcare. There's politics in education. There's politics in how they run our nation. So unfortunately, if we really want to make progress in a long-term, sustainable manner, we need to get into politics. So for 2023, we should already start having our own potential candidates. Nigeria is 60 years old. We should not have leaders that are over 60. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have no young leaders. So one, I know like Banky W and some other leaders, you know, some other youths try to campaign before, and it was hard because you know the politics in Nigeria. They're like, you don't have a godfather to fund you. But you just said one thing, which is we can mobilize our own resources. We proved it with NSARS. Even when they stopped people's bank accounts in Nigeria, they now started using Bitacom, and they started using other ways, you know what I'm saying, to trade and get money so they can mobilize themselves. So there's always a way around it, but we need to make sure that we're at that political, high-level diplomatic table that are making the decision. So that gets to my next point, that when we do these town halls, you know, what are the action plan? What are the next steps? So one of the things that I mean by that is that this is Africa. So how can, for example, we have, you know, somebody like you that speaks as a liaison, you know, or be on the task force, you know, for election and for the next election, you know, monitoring, you know, at the African Union, you know. So African Union this year, I'm not sure if you're aware, many people are not aware that the theme for this year, so they always come up with a theme every year. The theme for this year is silencing the gun. Now, can you imagine that?
Very
is like prophetic. Because, you know, we have
police brutality and all that.
So much violence. They send people, right, police brutality. Even here in the U.S., we have police brutality issues and racism, but back at home is even more people because it's our own people we're killing each other. And black killing blacks, these are innocent protesters, they're unarmed, and they just open fire. So how can we now petition those bodies? So, for example, even ECOWAS, Nigeria, out of all the Economic Commission of West African states, Nigeria has the highest GDP. It's the richest country in Africa. We're the most populated country in Africa. We contribute a lot to the African Union and ECOWAS, but we don't really have a voice as youth, you know what I'm saying, in the ECOWAS hemisphere. So how can we, you know what I'm saying, get on those technical working groups and those task force and make sure, you know what I'm saying, that we have a voice and we're making decisions at the regional level, you know, at the international level, and even at the state level. So I tell people, I'm like, if they try to silence you within Nigeria, because of the use of social media, and we're able to use email, you can petition, you can write an email to the African Union president and give him like 7 days to respond. He must respond. And if he doesn't, you put him on blast on social media. You know, our Africans, they don't like when people put them on blast. Do you understand? Like this NSARS, that's why it's such a big deal, because your protest, like everybody is seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Police came out, people are putting it all over their social media channels. It went viral, you know, the hashtag, everybody is following it, and they hate to be embarrassed. You understand? So how can we continue to embarrass them until changes are done? And that means that a lot of us, we don't want to get into politics. But what I just know, politically and diplomatically, you must get into politics if you want to make sustainable changes. And we need to get our own people there, because right now they have their own evil agenda for 2023. You understand? They already have it. They're meeting every evening.
They're doing what they can.
They do all their concussions.
Doing all they can. And that's why during the protest, someone asked me, why are we praying? Why are we praying instead of protesting and screaming? And I said, the people you are trying to fight against are in some sort of occultic community or somewhere, doing their concussion, invocation, enchantment and all that. And you're asking why we are praying and protesting. That's why I like that you started with faith without work is dead. A lot of us that are Christians or Muslims or whatever we believe in feel like, oh, we don't need to get involved in politics. But for policies to change, you have to actually get your hands dirty, get involved, send people, send representatives. And I made an example in my live broadcast on Facebook with a couple of organizations that wanted me to speak. I said, imagine if the churches, imagine if the mosque, imagine if the religious leaders were at the forefront of the process.
Exactly
what all of us that have character, morals, people that claim that we have proper image representation, people that claim that we have integrity standard with all our degrees and all that. Imagine if we were the ones that were at the forefront of this protest and said enough is enough, we are tired of what is happening. Do you think anybody will go and point gun to the biggest church religious leader in Nigeria? The entire church congregation will massacre the police because they know that that's our leader. You can't kill our leader. But we sent the so-called people we are calling thugs today. We sent the so-called people we call hoodlums today to go and represent us at the forefront of the protest. And what do you expect? They lacked organization. They lacked planning or even leadership. There was no leadership, because at some point when the protest started, we were running a decentralized leadership pattern. But if we had people with morals, character, and education in the midst of that protest, they would have known that now we have spent 7 days. They see that we are serious. The next point of action is to start creating leadership groups, start forming coalitions, start making sure that this bond is so strong that they can't break in, start creating, writing the policies and what we want, the demands, making it very clear. Forming the panel there, making sure that each time, like the governor of Lagos State showed up to the protest ground, they are having the panel discussion right on stage, sanctioning and delivering justice there, so that they can take it serious. Now, we already know Nigeria bows down to social pressure. What we in diaspora can do right now is to start sending these emails, start spreading the news, start, tagging different international bodies that are responsible for monitoring all this process and procedures. We can do it's free. It actually costs nothing to engage these people, to send this email. 1 minute of your time, tag them, send pictures, send photos, let them know what's happening, and most importantly, contribute, because we will need money for 2023.
Exactly. So we need to financially contribute. We need to come up with a work plan, as you said. We need to come up with templates, like emails, templates that people can just, send out to all your different contacts. You put your name in it, and then the more people that sends out the email that harasses them, the more attention that we will get, and the more action they will have to respond. So when you send the email, we'll tell them, oh, we need a response, within 7 days or within 48 hours, or else, we're going to put you on blast on social media that we sent this petition, this letter to you, and you did not respond, because they work for us. A lot of people forget that when they go into power, it's not for you to just go and eat money. You know what I'm saying? And go and eat, look at the provisions for the COVID-19 pandemic, that they were supposed to give out food to poor people. They were locking it up, maybe for the next election, so they can give it out and say, you guys.
And I feel like that's why this fundraising is very important for diasporans to come. If somebody, I don't know if people are already making plans for this, we need to come up with a global coalition where diasporans can say, okay, we are actually going to pick our representative. We are going to send people to this place. Start filling up the local government positions, the councillor positions, so that people, we are not telling people to go and raise money now to buy tickets for their election. We will fund the tickets for you. So you are going there to represent us. You are going to have the Zoom or online meeting where you do your debate and all that. If you fail the debate, you drop instantly. We'll send on that person. So when we actually fund these things, we'll have the right to say, okay, we are sending you to go and represent us there. If you misbehave, we'll call you back straight to your village.
Bam! We go check you. We're going to have a scorecard. So when we
that's the beginning of the death of God for that reason.
Yes. And and that's what they mean by Sorosoke. Yes, we need to speak up and shut all the enemies down, because the thing is, we cannot run. It's not normal democracy as usual. It's like in Africa, where they say, in America, everything runs, in order. No, and everything is not business as usual in Nigeria. Anything can happen. They can make a law today, and then tomorrow, the law is not implemented. Do you understand?
Yes,
So we need to be the ones that are there. You said a key point. You said some key things that I really need to repeat, so people don't forget your key points. You said something about you're working with somebody, you're trying to see how and that's a part of getting the resources to translate the Nigerian Constitution. Nigeria has, many tribes and many languages. Translating, it to people's native language, whether it's in Pidgin English, whether it's in Igbo, whether it's in Bini language, whether it's in Igbo, Yoruba, so people can, and then break it down. We don't even have to translate it in such a way where, the entire Constitution, we can summarize it into like an infographic, what I'm saying? And make it very, very clear, but informational, where and I'll say, okay, law 1 or your Bill of Rights or whatever, and let them know, like, these are your different rights. One of the things that I worked on when I was working in Nigeria, because there's so much violence, so many people don't know that we passed the VAT bill, which is the Violence of People Prohibition Bill. They should actually be implementing this bill for what went on in the protests, but many people don't even know that the VAT bill was passed, and that, lawyers can go and represent human rights lawyers. And we even have a human rights commission in Nigeria, but it's not active.
It's not active.
They don't,
Right now, the lawyers are powerless in Nigeria because the people they work for are so powerful that they are ready to kill you, silence you, kidnap you, send you to anywhere just to make sure people don't hear about you at all. So the only way we can start this movement and be successful is actually infiltrating into this political system. How is to start putting our people in different positions, start sending people with character to this position, so that when they go there, they are taking over the local government, they have taken over the Senate level. Before you know, they are taking over the presidency. That's how we get involved. So for those of us that have been praying for Nigeria to be better, it's time for you that know politics, you that spend your time to read newspaper from morning till evening, to start getting involved, to start putting your
and
hands.
not just newspaper. There's a lot of Nigerians here that work, for the government or retired like foreign service diplomats. So you have those, young people that actually know, politics, and for you to succeed, in America against all prejudice and racism. I mean, here we have to work extra harder, than our Oyinbo counterparts, So when you see our people are more educated, we're more assertive, and we actually go after what we really want, and we get it. So if we can overcome that in a foreign land, this is not our land, you know what I'm saying? So if we can overcome that here, we should be able to overcome it back at home. But I said it takes unity, it takes resources. So that leads me to my final question to you. What should be the call to action, that we should all do? Because all of us are change agents, you know what I'm saying? So you can all, just like you said, send out emails, you can donate to GoFundMe, but give us some key steps, action steps, next steps that everybody can do to bring Nigeria forward.
The first step we can start is actually proper engagement with ourselves. I don't know why we shy away from this conversation. A lot of us are like, no, I don't want to get involved, please. Like someone even told me, hope they will not go and kill your family in Nigeria. I'm like, if everybody has this mentality, where would we get to with this mentality? People have to see, whether we like it or not, for revolution to come, life must go. It's normal. Blood will be shed. We just have to pray and say, God,
it's a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice. Right? Let me not be among those that will go. But whether we like it or not, for this battle to be won, there has never been any land takeover. Even from the Bible, those that understand the Bible, when Jesus or God was promising people different lands, he was telling them, I'm going to make sure you win this battle. I'm going to make sure you win this battle. Exactly. You must go to war. So for us to go to war, we need to be mentally, physically, and spiritually ready. And we must be ready to have this conversation. And that conversation involves engaging ourselves. Ask questions. Don't be quiet about it. Today alone, I've spoken to 4 people about what next. So we need to start asking ourselves, start having these conversations, and start educating ourselves on what next. Then as soon as the conversations are going on, people need to start standing up. We need to start seeing people who have this leadership potential stand up to say, okay, we are doing this, we are doing that. Nobody told me before I designed flyer for the protest. I just carried the placard one day, designed flyer, and people broadcasted it. Boom. We had a crowd. So if people can start taking that initiative to say, let's do something, let me do something, let me call this person that did the other one, call this other person I saw speaking. Before you know, we start doing something meaningful, and before 2023, we're almost ready. We have put pressure on INEC already to get all the PVCs ready, because their plot now is to bring PVC in January when the election is in March.
Well, let them know what's PVC. Or some people here, they don't know what's in PVC.
PVC means your permanent voter's card. So if they can get it ready now, INEC can start mass producing the permanent voters card now, so that people can have it in their hands. Because that's the power we have now to start saying, okay, if we want to vote for Omoyele, everybody has their PVC. They are not trying to rig anything.
Right.
And if they can create a system whereby diasporans can vote, we are ready to vote too.
Yes. And we should start doing that now. They have the Nigerian ambassador here. They have the Nigerian, and then they have the consulates in Atlanta. We need to start writing them here. That's why they're here. You know what I'm saying? They are our foreign diplomats representative here, and they should be the ones advocating for us. So that's another way that we can move this forward. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they're here for. That's their job. They're here to serve us here in the diaspora. So we should not put them off the hook too. All the Nigerian embassies and consulate, from the one in New York to the one in Washington to the one in Atlanta, we will holla at you very soon. So
yes,
thank you. Those are great action steps. And just like you said, there's power in unity. We need to talk up, and people need to contact you. I'm sure a lot of people, after listening to this podcast, will want to contact you. So let them know how to contact you on social media. What are your hashtags, your emails? How can they follow you? And also your GoFundMe.
Okay.
Talk about that
Very
too.
important, yes.
Yeah.
I'm on social media, Instagram as MC_attraction. Our page for the Chicago Nigerian is just at Chicago Nigerians. Then if you want to donate to the GoFundMe account, just visit www.chicagonigerians.com. Click on the donate button. It takes you straight to the GoFundMe account. You donate. If you can do 1 billion naira, we'll take it. $1 billion, we'll take it. Anything you can do to support, just support. And for those that would like to contact me personally, my phone number, this is my direct phone number because I like money a lot. I like to give direct number.
Hey, look at that MC attraction.
773-931-1769. 773-931-1769. So reach out. Let's start having this conversation and this plan going on.
Thank you. So I want to leave everybody with the African proverb of the week. It's from my favorites, Fela Kuti, the legend. He says, the secret of life is to have no fear. Once again, the secret of life is to have no fear. So we should all walk in unity. There is power in partnership. And, we should put all of our words into action. I know that, there's a lot of, I would say, animosity and craziness and wahala that might come our way, because when we're trying to make great change, there's a lot of opposition because, it's pretty much warfare. So, but we should not be distracted by the warfare. So thank you, Mr. MC Attraction, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much for having me.
God bless up. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.